This is the Global News Podcast from the BBC World Service. Hello, I'm Oliver Conway, and this edition is published in the early hours of Friday, the 2nd of March. Our main stories. America first. President Trump announces new tariffs on steel and aluminium. The US responds to President Putin's promise of a new generation of nuclear weapons.
U.S. defense capabilities are and will remain second to none. And now, because of the new defense budget of $700 billion, our military will be far stronger than ever.
And Catalan separatist Carles Puigdemont says he's giving up his attempt to become the region's president. Also in this podcast, a stern homecoming for North Korea's cheerleaders.
They were staying at a 4-star hotel with flat-screen TVs, air conditioning, ensuite bathrooms, so you can understand why the North Korean authorities would want them to go through re-education.
And scientists discover tattoos that are 5,000 years old. But first, Donald Trump has talked tough on trade since before he became president, loudly touting his America First policy. In January, he approved steep tariffs on imported washing machines and solar panels. Now, after some disagreements among his advisers, he's announced new measures to help US steel and aluminium producers.
What's been allowed to go on for decades is disgraceful. It's disgraceful. And when it comes to a time when our country can't make aluminum and steel, and somebody said it before, and I will tell you, you almost don't have much of a country, because without steel and aluminum, your country's not the same.
Mr. Trump was speaking at the White House, flanked by steel and aluminium executives. Our correspondent Barbara Platt-Usher in Washington told me more.
He said that he would impose 25% tariff on steel and 10% tariff on aluminium. Not much more than that, because that's still being written up and will be announced next week, he said. But that he mentioned it would be for a long period of time, and the intention was to rebuild American steel and aluminium industries, which have been struggling to compete because China's flooded the market with cheap steel, driving down the prices. So he framed it as a national security issue. He said the America needs to have a domestic supply for tanks and warships. But of course, it does fit his get tough approach to trade.
And we were told there was some disagreement ahead of this announcement. Is that because of fear of retaliation from China and also the EU?
Quite fierce disagreement, really, in the White House between trade hardliners and free traders. The concern of the free traders is that this is ultimately going to damage U.S. industry. And yes, because of the threat of retaliation, they don't want to trigger a trade war. They feel that the U.S. would be the loser in that. Really an intense debate. It delayed the decision till now. Trump's been wanting to do it for a long time. And the debate may have also affected the rollout. There were just rumors and counter rumors right up until the last minute about whether Mr. Trump would take the step, even as to whether he